There's a moment when your dog stops waiting for your signal and starts making decisions on their own. And it doesn't feel dramatic when it happens because everything still looks normal at first. Your dog still listens sometimes and still stays close in familiar situations. But in certain moments, they begin acting before you say anything. They react faster than you expect and move without checking in. And those small decisions are where the real shift begins. Dogs are not naturally independent decision makers in a structured relationship. They are designed to reference a stable point before acting. That reference point is you when the relationship is clear. But when that clarity starts to weaken, your dog adapts quietly. Instead of waiting for direction, they begin choosing for themselves. At first, the decisions are small and easy to overlook. They choose where to move, what to react to, and when to respond. To most people, this looks like confidence or personality. But in reality, it reflects a change in reliance. Your dog is no longer depending on your judgment in the same way. They are depending on their own interpretation of the environment. This is not about disobedience or stubbornness. It is about which source of information feels more reliable. If your behavior feels inconsistent, your dog fills that gap. They replace uncertainty with their own decisions. And the more they do this, the more natural it becomes. Each independent decision reinforces the next one, until eventually your dog is no longer waiting at all. This is when owners begin noticing problems. Commands feel delayed or ignored in key moments. Reactions happen before you can intervene. And your dog seems to act on their own priorities. These are not sudden changes. They are the result of many small decisions over time. Each moment where your dog chose instead of waited. Each moment where they acted without referencing you. Over time, those moments become the default behavior. And once that happens, your role in the decision process changes. You are no longer the starting point. You become secondary to what your dog already decided. This is why some dogs seem to ignore commands in certain situations. Because the decision was already made before the command came. And once a decision is made, changing it becomes harder. Dogs commit to what they believe is the correct response, especially when they trust their own judgment more in that moment. This is the part most people never see clearly. The shift doesn't happen when the dog disobeys. It happens much earlier when the dog stops waiting. And by the time disobedience appears, the pattern is already established. Because decision always comes before action. And action is what owners notice. But the real change happens in the decision itself. That is where the relationship either holds or shifts. A dog that waits is still connected to your direction. A dog that decides first is connected to its own perception. And that difference changes everything that follows. Because once your dog begins deciding without you consistently, you are no longer guiding the moment in real time. You are reacting to something that has already been chosen. And that is why this shift feels so difficult to correct. Not because the dog is difficult, but because the decision is no longer coming from you. Which means the most important question is not what your dog is doing. It is when your dog stopped waiting before doing it. Because that moment determines whether your dog still sees you as the one to look to before making a choice.